All right,
Yeah,
sir.
indeed.
What's new with you?
There's a lot new with me.
Okay.
Um, I am about 3 shades more golden. Because back from the Golden State,
Hmm.
and I found a pine cone bigger than my foot
That's awesome.
in the sequoia or the redwoods.
Yeah, duh. I want to go to the redwoods.
It smelled like maple freaking syrup.
Were
I
you?
got out the car. I
Were you
said, "Look
like?
at pancakes." I was like, man, this is
Do you think it's
new.
syrup there? I don't think so.
It smelled mapley, but like every time I try to spell that or tell somebody like it smells mapley, like I have to like put syrup on the end because I don't know how to spell mapley, so I have to say it
I don't
smells.
think mapley is necessarily a word.
I know, but like a spell check just be like, nigga, no, and it changes it. I just like, I'm gonna go with mapley.
Maple syrup. Cool.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they get that from redwoods. Did you see the one where you can drive under it?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
We didn't get to go all the way through. Like
Okay.
we got up to a certain point and then we had to leave in order to try to get back for our flight that we missed anyway. So I mean,
Almost.
hey,
All right. Well, that's cool.
what you gotta do.
Yep. Came back
We
the next
miss
day.
flights over here, all right?
Yeah, you do.
With pride. Get up at 4 a.m. and fly standby the next day. All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Cheers to standby flights.
No stress in that at all. At least this time it was just you and your brother and no extra people.
Yeah. If it was more people than that, that would have been hectic, mad hectic. Because I had no clue what we was doing
On the way there.
Yeah, like flying standby, we were just like, nigga, we in Dallas now. Let's see what happens. Like,
Well, because they call you if they have room, and if they don't, they don't. You just wait again.
Yeah, he was going to have to find a place to stay in Dallas. I was like, I had a lot of friends in Texas. Well, I got friends and family in Texas. I would have been cool, but
there you go. But you're back.
Yeah. Shout
Cool.
out to God the Father Apparel for this shirt.
Jesus.
Make sure you shop God the Father Apparel and make sure you use my discount code at checkout, Marcus. All right, Marcus. Simple.
So easy. It's all about
simple.
Marcus.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's
Cool.
new with you, Mandy? We haven't talked on. This has been. It's been like what, like 2 or 3 weeks.
Has not been 3 weeks. It seems like that because you miss me so much.
Shut your tattoo.
Okay. It's been like a week and a half that we have not seen each other's face, and we haven't talked on the phone, which we were doing quite frequently. So we'll just have to get back to doing that.
We just been busy. That's all.
Yeah. The love is still there. We're just busy, but it'll be fine. Now we're getting back in the swing of things, recording again and, getting on top of things. But yeah, I haven't officially started, but I've been doing my yoga trapeze teacher training stuff. So that's cool. Yep. And then, just regular living the life with kids.
Living your life like it's golden.
Yeah. And I have a leopard gecko, as you know, but nobody else does. So.
What's his name?
Moonlight.
Oh, that's
it's a hippie gecko.
Yeah.
I didn't name it. Harper and Allison did.
I was going to say, who did?
My children.
One of the kids actually drew something really cool at summer camp today. It was a sun on this side and then a moon on this side. And then like on this side, there were moon rays and on this side, it was sun rays. And I was like,
oh,
really
that's
cool.
my new tattoo.
I actually told her, I was like, I think I'm going to get that tattoo. And she was like, why? I was like, why not? She was like, just don't do that. Don't do it. I was like,
okay.
I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna bring you with me.
You can't.
This is my favorite student. This student is like my child. Her and her little sister.
But you can't take a child into a tattoo parlor.
I've done it.
No, you haven't, because you don't have a tattoo. You can't. No, you don't.
I've been in a tattoo parlor.
But you can't take a child in most.
Is that what it's called? Tattoo parlor.
Yeah, in most legit tattoo establishments, you cannot take a child. And now
we went to a basement.
That's why. And now you can only go yourself with a mask. So
yeah,
can't even take a friend. It's just you. Oh well.
You're lonesome. Not at T-Dog's.
Well,
Taman got a tattoo. And his girlfriend went with him.
well, they didn't have a good social distancing policy. That's all I gotta say. Speaking of this whole thing, there's been a lot going on, as we all know, which we can cover soon. But people are tending to forget, I feel like, that the coronavirus is like a real thing. And I have not, and I don't see a lot of people yet. I mean, a couple, but not like a big ordeal. My kids still, like, I've let them come with me to the store maybe twice, 3 times. They wear their masks. Like, I'm a total freak about it. I did not send Ellison back to school, right? Well, guess what?
What?
Someone there has the coronavirus. See? I said my kid's not going to be the goddamn guinea pig, and he wasn't, but they are. So now all of the school's been open for 16 days. It closed, and now everybody who's been there, all the kids, the parents, everything, quarantined. Plus, there's 4 teachers that were like definitely exposed. So now every single person has to get tested, and it's a big drama. And I'm like, we weren't there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel bad for them, but
I just looked on Twitter while I was driving, actually. Not safe.
That's not safe.
But I think it was before I actually started driving. I think I was sitting in the parking lot still. But somebody was just like, yo, I got tested, and it says that I have, coronavirus or whatever. And then I don't like how that came out of my mouth. The person got tested, and their results said that they have coronavirus. When I said it was too strong, I was like,
you're like, I don't have it.
Yeah. So they got tested and they have it.
Yes.
And then I scrolled down a little bit, and somebody else was like, they just got tested for corona. And I was like, can't relate, man. I did buy a new soccer ball the other day, though. So
that's good.
We'll see what happens if I have another soccer get together.
Well, just don't have like people that you didn't have before.
Yeah. Oh. At first, I was gonna be like, "Yo, Taman," but I can tell you about that later.
Yep. A friend of ours who was on the podcast, she has a sore throat, and so she had to be tested, and she can't go back to work. She thinks it's just allergies. So
got you. Yeah. Or strep throat.
Well, I hope it's not that.
Better than coronavirus.
True. She has kids, and so it just becomes complicated, but I'm sure it's just allergies. Yeah. So she'll find out soon, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So anyway, anything else going on you want to talk about, or you want to talk about all the crazy shit in the world?
Yo, my bad, guys. What's up?
Oh,
welcome.
We don't know.
Welcome. It's been a month.
We took a week off for personal stuff going on, and just time not allowing us to do this.
Yeah.
And so now we're back, and we've never taken a week off. So it was strange, and now we're back, and it's not going to happen again, most likely. So we forgot who we are and what we're doing.
Well, hello, guys. Yes, welcome to Unapologetically Human, the podcast where we make fun of everything, everyone, and everybody with no regard for your feelings or your thoughts. All right, that is your disclaimer for the day. Yep. I don't care.
Nope. Don't give a shit.
Flat out. All right.
I like what this girl on Ozark said. She said, "I don't give a shit about fuck."
Oh, wow.
And she's got a real thick country accent when she says it, and it's just really funny.
Wow.
So that's if you saw the meme and you knew the show, you'd laugh. It's funny.
No, I respect it. She's doing her thing out here.
Kinda. So anyway, yes, that's your disclaimer. This is the show, and I'm Mandy, and that's Marcus.
Yeah.
Use Marcus's code.
At discount.
At discount.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Speaking of discounts, guys, make sure that you visit not only God the Father Apparel and use Marcus at discount. Also, visit our friends over at Greenwood District UHuman.com. Use code UHuman at checkout. Get you some dope Black-owned business gear. All right.
It's not just about Black-owned businesses, but
No, it's not just about Black-owned businesses.
It's about celebrating Blackness.
You know, we got
and there's stuff that some people that are not Black can wear.
Yeah.
Just be smart about it.
Yeah, shop smart.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid, please, because we will come after you.
I mean, if I wore melanin poppin', that's no, because it's not.
Why would you? You know,
not.
You know.
Yep.
My tweet of the day, guys. Follow us on Twitter, UHuman Podcast. Tweet of the day. Somebody said, "White girls be talking about on gang."
Talking about what?
Is there white girls be talking about own gang? And it was like, what gang? Sarah, the KKK?
They should have said, what gang, Karen? The KKK. You've been really into Twitter lately.
Yeah, I've been trying to get our socials all together and everything.
Okay, good.
Instagram and
I'm kind of letting you take the reins on that.
Yeah, y'all follow us on everything at UHuman Podcast. That is Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow us on all of those. UHuman Podcast. This is our website, uhumanpodcast.com. You will hear this again at the end. But yes.
And there's more stuff that we're adding to the website constantly. So Yep. We'll have our Greenwood District stuff up there by this weekend.
Yeah.
So that you can just click and go directly to it, and maybe some other stuff. And we're getting our merch within a couple of months. So
getting all of that handled.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be there by our podcast anniversary, which is August 27th, I believe.
That's what you told me.
I think
Marcus remembers our anniversary, so I'm trying to as well. Trying to not be the man in the relationship.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is, August 27th.
That's what you've said, yes.
Yeah.
Great.
But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in with us. We have a lot in store for you. Stay tuned, and here's a commercial break. Do you like Black people?
No.
So do we. Spoken like a true Karen, Mandy. No,
that's right.
Karens are at it all over the place.
They're so stupid.
So there was a cop crying about McDonald's. She was like,
what about it?
They were taking long to make her order. She ordered a McMuffin sandwich and a coffee, and they were taking long. And she started crying in the car about how she didn't trust them to make the food, and she was having anxiety. She was like, in all of my 15 years, I've never been scared for them to make my McDonald's meal. I was like, you should always be scared.
Seriously.
For them to make your McDonald's meal.
I'm scared, especially if you ever go inside, you're like, oh, fuck, this is a bad idea. Don't go inside.
Every time you get food out, it is a conscious risk. Every time.
Many levels.
Wherever you go, it don't matter if it's McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, which is canceled. I ain't had Chick-fil-A in about 3 weeks. And y'all know I love Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, but they suck, so you can't go there.
Chick-fil-A get along like America and racism. We are tight.
That's right.
All right.
So tight.
We get along, But yeah. Every time you go, it is a risk. So for her to cry about this one time, I was like, you gotta pick and choose your battles.
Well, she must have been having some other deep-seated issues that day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I just read, though, actually, a police officer was poisoned at a Shake Shack in, I don't want to misquote, but I believe it was in Minnesota. It was not. It was in New York. I just picked a state, to be honest with you. I was trying to open it, and I was like, I'm just gonna pick one. Minnesota.
Well, of course it was.
Wyoming.
That's exactly where it was. Wyoming. In the middle of nowhere.
This is from Complex Magazine. This NYPD claims 3 officers were intentionally poisoned at Shake Shack. It was in quotes. At Shake Shack in NY. somebody quoted this and said, the person who made their food needs to be put on paid administrative leave pending an investigation by other Shake Shack employees.
Okay. Did they say that the Shake Shack employees should be paid administrative leave because that's what always happens to a police officer?
Yeah.
Like, really? Okay, you
Yeah.
wouldn't get paid for any sort of leave working at fucking Shake Shack. So, and you shouldn't be paid for, murdering people, but that's cool too.
Nah, yeah, that's why they quoted it and said that, because it was like, yo.
Gotcha. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
No, yeah, you're good. Way to ruin the joke, Mandy. It's all good.
Well, it was still funny when I said it because I'm funny. So.
No. Yeah, that was like I saw that, like my friend Brianna sent me that like right before we got on, and I was like, spot on there, Bri. Huh? Great job.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right.
Also, before we jump in, there was a NASCAR driver. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a NASCAR driver named Ray Ciccarelli.
What was that? Ray Ciccarelli?
Ray Ciccarelli. Racist is what his name sounds like.
Okay. Yeah.
Ray Ciccarelli. This was his tweet. "I'd like to announce I'm retiring from NASCAR after this season. I cannot drive a car for a league that won't allow my special flag." I thought he was talking about like a special flag, if you know.
Like gay pride?
No. Like he has special mental situations, and I was like,
Marcus. Number one, okay. If he was special needs, he should not be driving a fucking NASCAR. And that may sound like a horrible thing to say, but it's true, because most people shouldn't be driving NASCAR. But also, if you are impaired somehow mentally, that's a very bad choice. Even though now that I'm saying that, I feel like everyone who drives NASCAR is impaired in some way or another. But yeah, he means the Confederate flag.
Yeah, he definitely means the Confederate flag.
Because you heard that NASCAR took that away.
Mm-hmm. This is what NASCAR said back to him. Remember, this is a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
NASCAR said this: "We actually had to Google who you were."
Oh, Jason read me this. Jason read me this. This is funny.
"We actually had to Google who you were. I'm sure your dozens of fans are real sad about your crusade to defend participation trophies."
Yes, Jason read me that a while. That was funny. He's like, that was hilarious. He's like, I'm not even a NASCAR fan, but I might start watching NASCAR. And he's like, there's some funny shit, man.
I have to switch it up. My dream job, all right, and all businesses, my dream job is to represent a company, a school, something as their like social media person.
Yeah.
I just want to respond to people on Twitter, honestly. just businesses and corporations be wilding on Twitter. Like Wendy's is great for it.
Really?
Like they be going on people, yes. But
That's
Wendy's
funny.
is also canceled because they're supporting Trump. So there's so many restaurants. I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich yesterday.
You love that.
I do. Like peanut butter and jelly smacks like an abusive parent. It's delicious. But like it is actually delicious. But I'm sad.
About the lack of going to shitty restaurants that you like?
Yep.
Okay. You don't need to be eating that chicken shit anyway.
It is so good.
No, it's no good. It's no good for you. That's disgusting. They pull chickens, they grow into cages, they pull them out of cages, and yuck. Yeah,
there's a little bit of extra flavor. Get a little rust on your chicken.
That's the flavor right there.
Rusty chicken.
Sick. That's disgusting. It's funny though.
Yeah.
Gross. Okay, fine.
Jumping in though. There's of course a lot going on, as we already stated, in the news, whether it be coronavirus, whether it be protests, just all the different types of things. Yep. So today we just kind of wanted to talk about all the racism, the opposite of racism. Mandy's calling it anti-racism.
I'm not the only one.
No, I'm sure you're gonna break it down, because I told her, I was like, I don't get.
He's like, I don't understand.
I don't understand like why somebody would call it anti-racism. I just feel like It's just like racist or like smart. So I was like, okay.
But
Racist.
it's more complicated, unfortunately.
I got you. I'm all ears.
Oh, you want me to talk about it? Okay. So okay. Okay, so did I already ask you about Ibram X. Kendi?
Nope.
I was like, hey, do you know Ibram X. Kendi? Like, not personally. That'd be
I don't
cool.
think so.
But, okay, so he's an author. And one of his biggest books and things that people are like putting out there right now and buying because they never thought of doing this before, How to Be an Anti-Racist is one of his biggest books.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that obviously, kind of talks about the whole anti-racist thing he's saying, right? So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is from that. But he also, this book, stamped, it's backwards, obviously, but stamped from the beginning. And then he has stamped, which is kind of like for young adults and teens and young adults, to break that giant ass book down to things, stop yawning, to so that they can understand it easier. And then this is kind of fun, Anti-Racist Baby, which is a board book for babies.
Oh wow.
I know. So man, I wish I would have.
I wonder like what that would be like.
And the cover's hilarious. It's so cute. It's like this baby like it's like anti-racist.
I pictured a baby with like a fro and a fist with like glasses on and all black with a black turtleneck, and he's
no, he didn't have that on.
A Black Panther baby.
Not a black, but that's a good book right there. Black Panther Baby.
Black Panther Baby.
Yeah. So anyway, he wrote all of this, and he's a professor, and he's just a cool guy and like really, really smart about all of this.
Yeah.
So I mean, he talks about all kinds of things, but I guess I'll break the first stuff down, like racist. What does it mean to be racist? It means to be an asshole. You
were legitimately asking me?
Yeah.
Oh,
how do you view it? What do you view that as?
I view that as having like one power to oppress people, and using said power to oppress people in many different ways, whether it be like mentally or like physically, verbally.
Yep. Yeah. Well, he just said someone who's expressing racist ideas or supporting racist politics with their actions or inaction. We never admit the times we're being racist. So it's yeah, action and inaction. Because if you do nothing, I mean, you're kind of saying your stance almost.
Yeah.
So anti-racist is just the opposite. It's really just not doing any of those things. You're not buying into any of that, but it also takes work. So, you're doing the research, you're teaching yourself about history of Black people, you're having your voice be heard, you're standing up for people, blah, 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 tons of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So then the neutrality of it. So a lot of people are like, hey, can you just be neither? Well, not really, because you kind of have to pick one or the other, right?
So be neither with racist in it.
So a lot of people are like, no, I'm just neutral. No, you're just a racist, because to be neutral is to have inaction, right? Yeah. So I love the look on your face. So you don't want to identify as a racist, but you don't want to take on the views of an anti-racist, right? And you don't want to do the work, pretty much. You're lazy, but I think. But he also said it's kind of like a way of like defensively posturing, because you're almost creating this category for yourself. And can you explain that category? Most likely not in any sort of intellectual way that's going to make people be like, yes, you're neutral. No.
I don't understand how you can. I feel like we live in a culture of people always trying to be neutral with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're either like extreme or neutral. It's just, there's no like lines. I mean, it's just like you either like or
maybe I'll think about
it. I'd be like, yo, like
yeah. But it's just being like complacent. And I think saying you're neutral, and I'm gonna come from like a and it's like a very like white privilegey thing to do, oh well, I'm just neutral on it, so because you don't have to think about it, so it's stupid. And like he was saying, like if you can tell me, like define what your stance is, we could have a conversation about it. But it's really posturing, it's like being very defensive instead of either admitting that you're just a racist or
Yeah.
that doing the work to be an anti-racist. I want to read this one thing he says. So interesting. He said, to grow up in America is to grow up with racist ideas to constantly be rained on your head, and you have no umbrella, but you didn't even know that you were wet with racist ideas because those racist ideas themselves cause you to imagine that you are dry. Then someone comes along and says, you know what, you're wet, and these ideas are still raining on your head, but here's an umbrella. And you can say, thank you, I didn't even realize I was being drenched. So I thought that was really interesting. So he's like, these things are like raining down on us all the time. And some people, maybe the racists or the people that are saying they're neutral, have no idea that they're wet. They're just like, oh. And then somebody comes along and is like, hey, you are drenched right now. Let me help you out. Here's an umbrella. Well, do you accept that? Or do you just keep ignoring the fact that you're completely soaking wet? Yeah. You know what I mean? I thought that was really interesting that he said.
Yeah, that's a cool analogy to think about.
It's so cool because I think that's kind of what's happening right now with a lot of white people is the umbrella came over and they're like, oh, a lot of them are like, oh, fuck. No, I want to be an anti-racist, you know? So put in the work, do the work. Okay, then get yourself to where you can be. But some people, as we've seen, and I've noticed, which I'll talk about in a little bit with people that have been posting shit, they don't want the damn umbrella.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be complacent and in their comfort zones. So, I don't know.
Gotcha.
What do you have to say about any of this? I mean, I have all kinds of shit I can talk about, but, you know, I want to hear from you.
Yeah. No. I think that's an interesting, like, I've seen it in the Black community as well. Like,
yeah, he said that. And he's Black, obviously, but he said that. Yeah,
with Black people towards Black people. Because Terry Crews made a tweet the other day saying, like, yo, we have, like, he was pretty much saying, what he was trying to say is that, I'm going to say what he said actually first. So what he said was that he was like, white people and Black people don't work together to solve this issue, then it's going to create, to solve white supremacy, then it's going to create Black supremacy. And I was like, Black supremacy? The hell is Black supremacy?
You're like, that's not possible.
Yeah, and so that's like the reaction of everybody was like, Black supremacy. Like he was good until he said Black supremacy.
Right.
So
then it seems like he's almost like going against the movement. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
so
what?
Yeah. So what he was trying to say was like, you know, white people and Black people need to work together to solve this issue, or it's just gonna be another issue. It's not gonna get solved. Right. We're all in this together. We have to do this together, right? Mm-hmm. But what he said was that it would create Black supremacy, and it was just like
he just used strange wording.
Yeah. And this isn't the first time that Terry Crews has, you know, been a quote unquote target for something that he said. And there was a lot of people that came at him and like wrong. And then there were some people that came at like when he was in Everybody Hates Chris, the Tyler James Williams is his name, the guy who played the main character Chris. He came to him, he was like, hey, Terry, it was through Twitter, he was like, hey, Terry, like, I love you, but yo, like, this is what you sound like, this is what you said, this is how it's getting taken, like, that's not, he was just like, what you're saying is gonna be taken the wrong way.
Right.
I get what you're trying to say, but what you say actually matters, type of stuff. And he was just like, no, like, I understand what you're saying, Tyler, but Tyler was like, no, bro, like, you're actually doing more damage to what we're trying to do than what you think and stuff like that. So he kind of, the umbrella was handed to him. He was kind of like, no, like, I'm good. I don't need the umbrella. But we're looking at him and it's like, my nigga, your shirt, he's bald. Like, your head is glistening right now. And yeah. So stuff like that. Yeah.
So I want to get your kind of your opinion, your thoughts on this, because you and I have talked about this before, but this is kind of a different context. So Ibram X. Kendi said that he, as a Black man, had to kind of accept where his racism was coming from. And I was like, what? Marcus and I always have said Black people cannot be racist. But what he was saying was kind of like what you're talking about with like Black on Black racism almost. So he said that he uh he was racist to his own people, like not all
Yeah.
of them, but certain ones, and that he views himself as he's an anti-racist, but he had to overcome his racism. And I was like, what? So we've always talked about, at first I was like, you can't be racist against, like, a black person is a minority, so they cannot be racist against anyone else. But what he's only talked about, I believe, is between his own people. So
Yeah.
what are
I
your thoughts on that?
I agree with them with that one. Like, I think we can definitely be, and I personally have had to do the same thing. I've had to like deal with my own like issues and how I thought about certain people in my community. I had a friend, and this isn't necessarily like a racist thing. This part of it is just like like you can look at the numbers and be like, yo, like I understand your fear in this, but then part of it was just like it's like an ounce of race, quote unquote racism that
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't look at it as racism, but it kind of is. Um, I had a friend, she's a woman, of course, and
Thank
we live in a weird culture today. Like you gotta do stuff like I don't.
Yeah.
So she said that she was scared of black men. Oh,
Was
she's
she
black.
black?
Black.
She's black?
Yeah, she's black.
Okay.
And she said she's kind of scared of black men. And I
Okay.
was like, man, I actually understand. I completely understand what you're saying. And I was talking to my friend, I was talking to her boyfriend about it, because we were all talking. And
Is her boyfriend black?
yeah, everybody
Okay.
in the conversation was black. And
Okay.
I was just like, bro, you know how when you walking past a group of black dudes or just one black dude, like you kind of like stiffen up a little bit. It's like we there's like it's just like this tension as you walking by a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, and you can like we actively talk about this in the black community, like, yo, like we can be friends with each other. Like when we walk past each other, we can say hi, we can say what's up. We don't have to like stare each other down. We don't have to, but like we do for some reason. Like we're constantly trying to show, like, my nigga, like I'm gonna smack you. Don't look like constant all the time. And we were down. We were cleaning up part of Ferguson, a street in Ferguson, and I brought up the time we was walking past some dudes, and these was like the kids might have been like 16. We was walking past, same thing. We was all kind of like stiffing up. We all kind of like looking like corner eyeing each other. I was just like, I completely get what you're saying. I understand like
Hmm.
why you say that, both in terms of being a woman, because like I don't want to hear any black man talk about like, yo, like black women, this black, no, black men, we are sucking at protecting black women, sucking at it, because we are the ones that are actually attacking them. Like I can't remember what her name was, um, but she was sexually assaulted and killed by a black man. He was like 42 just
Mm-hmm.
recently. Um, Kev on stage was just talking about how this woman was hit in the face with a skateboard,
Mm-hmm.
by a black man or a black person. I don't know if he was a man or a younger boy or something. I don't know, but a guy. Um, a group of black guys threw this black woman in the trash can, and somebody was
Mm-hmm.
recording and laughing. We're not protecting black women.
Right.
And so when she said that, I was just like, man, I completely understand what you're saying.
I think and that could definitely be like another episode too, because I think that a lot of women don't aren't just scared of like black men, they're scared of men, or
Yeah.
like think about catcalling or walking by. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know that I kind of have an air about myself, like sometimes in general, but especially like if I'm out walking. I was even thinking like there's this one area of the park where there's a lot of homeless people, right? But it's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
men. And I'm whatever, it's fine. But today I was thinking like I'm usually in like workout clothes or whatnot. Today I'm in like I was earlier, but I'm in this like flowy dress. I look a little more like feminine right now, like walking. And then I was like, oh man, I'm gonna walk kind of like around. I just don't want to have any stuff. And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I've got Kaya with me, so I'm
Yeah.
good.
We.
And but I was thinking that like I don't really, because if I walk around one side, I know they're all gonna talk to me because it happened the other day, and they're all gonna say something about the way I'm carrying myself or look or whatever. And I didn't want to hear
Mm.
it and I want to deal with it. So I intentionally walked around and then felt better when I remembered I was actually walking my dog. So
Yeah.
it's like, just things like that. You just have to think about it.
Yeah.
But I definitely think abuse, violence, and just degrading is something that, women deal with. And I'm sure especially,
Yeah.
well, actually in all situations.
I think we start to believe our own stereotypes is what it is. I was thinking about that
Yeah.
as we started talking. Like in the Black community, we start to believe our own stereotype, like the stereotypes that are put on us
Mhm.
by other people. We start to believe those, and then we start to fear each other. And so, like
Yeah.
once we fear each other, it's just like you can't do anything. Like if you're
Yeah.
married and both of y'all are like fearing each other, y'all can't be a productive, couple. If
Right.
y'all can't be a productive family, raise the kids together and stuff like that, because y'all are so
Right.
scared of what you might do. He's scared of what you might do. She's scared of what you might do. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it kind of boils down to. Because I personally started to believe the stereotypes put on before I kind of understood all of this. I started to believe the stereotypes put on me and other Black men by the media, by TV shows and stuff like that. Like by the way a Black guy looks or dresses, by his hair and stuff like that. He's obviously a part of like this certain type of activity and stuff like that. And you start to believe those certain types of things about your own people. Then it's just like you gotta
Right.
like, so like you said, you gotta get through that thought, those
Right.
thoughts.
Right. Absolutely. Um, one thing he was talking about, which was interesting, was like violent crime data. And
Mm-hmm.
so, how some people are saying like Black neighborhoods are really dangerous. Like,
Yeah.
It's been like even where my kid, where Harper used to, but now where Ellison goes to school, it's like, oh, aren't you scared to go there? Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? But it's a primarily Black neighborhood, right? Well, it's like, I think it's just a Black neighborhood. I don't think any white people live there. But he's saying like what people don't realize is like the relationship between like violent crime and neighborhoods doesn't really have to do with the Blackness of your neighborhood or the whiteness of your neighborhood. It's like, because it says they say that many Black people are predisposed to violence, but if it's that way, then wealthy Black people, like wealthy neighborhoods of Black people, and impoverished neighborhoods of Black people would have the exact same amount of violence if Black people are just prone to violence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're not hearing that. It's always like in more impoverished neighborhoods that people are like kind of going towards, right? And being like, oh, it's a Black neighborhood and they're impoverished and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if Black people are prone to violence, then those doctors that live over in Ladue in this neighborhood, that's going to be just as prone to violence, which it's not.
Yeah.
So that's another stereotype of like just the violence. It's like, no, it's not just because like Black people have a culture, or maybe you're saying somebody's loud. Well, there's a reason for that too. Or maybe you're saying whatever. That's not a way of being violent. That's just a way of being.
Mm-hmm.
But instead,
yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's a good point. No, yeah.
I don't know. It's really annoying all the time. Because especially like, because with my kids too, it's kind of like, oh, well, Harper used to be really cute. Now he's kind of like a big Black boy. I'm like, okay, you know what, motherfucker?
A woman, somebody said, when did I stop being a cute child and then become a threat?
Mm-hmm.
And then this white woman quoted the tweet and said at 12. And I was like,
oh, so she had an answer for that?
She had an answer. Crazy thing, I thought she was a teacher at my school. I was finna get her fired. No, she actually went to my school at some point.
A white woman, you said?
In her Facebook profile, it says like, went to that school. And I was like, I thought you taught there. I was finna get you fired. I was finna email this president of the school, because I didn't feel like her response to everything was, good enough. It might have been like one paragraph and just like really spaced out. I was like,
so at 12,
it wasn't very quality. But yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I guess I actually think it depends on like how big your kid is and whatnot. And like, I swear, like, white people think black kids are like bigger than they are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Harper's 7.5. Like, he may look older, but he's not a threat. He's an emotional threat.
I was just saying, he is emotional. He's not out here trying to.
He is emotionally 7 years old. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. And so, but I have had to, I've told you before that I've had to tell people before, like, hey, he's really only this old, or blah, 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 blah. Like, he can't emotionally deal with what you're saying right now, or how you're treating him right now. So, yeah, but it's true. When do you become a threat? Oh, okay. So I want to talk about this one thing. So I kind of want to go back to where we were talking about, like, people and what they're saying on social media. Because I was telling you about it a little bit. Then I started doing yoga, and then I was like, we'll talk about it on the podcast. So there's just been some stupid people that recently I've been like, Jason, did you see that? And he's like, yeah, I unfriended them. I've unfriended 2 people in a week, I think. And you know, it's social media politics. Like, I feel like everybody is really like posting all this stuff, right? And at first it was like, okay, you know, finally they're believing this. Now it's just like consistent. So maybe it's a good thing, but maybe it's also like a bait, you know? So it's like, do you believe in this? And, oh, well, I believe in this. So what do you think about this? And it's like, do we really need to get in these like big debates on social media? Like, why don't we have some conversations outside of that? So this one chick said something to me like, okay, you know, the Christopher Columbus statue was taken down in Tower Grove.
Yep.
So, as we know. So I just said, it's about time. That's all I said. But I've always said, when you've told me that your favorite holiday is Thanksgiving, which because of the food.
Yeah, it's just because of food.
Right. I have always said, and I say it to my mom and everyone, she's always like, oh my God. But I'm like, Columbus is a raper and a pillager. Like, all he did was take over like an indigenous community and rape the women and take over their land and be a dick. Like, that's who he is. And, you know, I need to go to your house to enjoy some real good Thanksgiving food. Please. Then I might like the actual food portion better as well. I know, right? That's
we got the vegan eats and we got the non-vegan eats. We be out here eating.
Right. So
by the time Christmas come, I'll be sick of it.
No, you're not. You keep eating.
I've been I want some variety. I say once I move out and have my own family and stuff on Thanksgiving, we're gonna have like cultural Thanksgivings stuff. And then on Christmas we'll probably do like, you know, like the regular, feel me, like soul food style, vegan and non-vegan food and stuff like that. But then I would
you got Kwanzaa.
No, I probably wouldn't do Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa got a lot of like parts to it.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, like it's just too much to keep track of.
It's a lot.
Umoja, and you just be like,
I'm like, no. I only go to the Kwanzaa Celebrations Museum. So anyway,
that's so much
dancing and but so she writes me back. I don't even have it because I unfriended her. She writes me back like, really, I'm just sad about it, and all of our history is being removed and taken down or something. And I said, Christopher Columbus was a raper and a pillager. I said, which is something I've always believed. And I said, and the Confederate statues that are being taken down, rightfully so, because all of those represent are people that look just like my children being murdered. And I was like, but I also respect your opinion, and it is what it is, kind of thing, right? And I was like, because I was trying to be nice. She comes back at me with like crazy shit. She's like, there's slaves in my family too, coming from Hungary. Bitch, you kidding me right now? Okay, my background's Slovenian, which actually Slovenian means slave, but I don't consider myself a poor white slave. Okay? That's ignorant. So yes, there was slavery-ish in different places around the world and people being confined or held against their will or whatever, none of which is the same as slavery that has taken over the history of African Americans. Okay? That's ignorant to say that.
Yeah.
In my opinion. then she was saying stuff like Chinese, and she was all over the globe with her little facts, right? And she's like, and they branded and put tattoos on people and blah, blah, blah. She goes, how many tattoos do you have? I was like, bitch. So she's pretty much saying that I'm going against like my own children because they were tattooed, and it's not really a cool thing to do to tattoo yourself, and what do I have to show, so I should shut up, pretty much. And so I just kind of let her go. She kept going and kept going. And so then I just said to her, I said, I'm not going to have this conversation with you and this debate with you over social media. If you'd like to have a conversation privately, we can
meet me in
so.
the park in front of where they took down the Christopher Columbus statue, and we could throw these hands.
Right. That's what I wanted to say. But I was really
I'm
like,
be your anger translator.
Are you proud of me though? Because I'm kind of an anger ball a lot of the time, and I was like, I'm gonna say,
great job.
Thank you.
You deserve a bubble tea.
Yay! I had one the other day, but then Harper drank it. So, but shithead. But yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna have this conversation with you. I respect you as like a person, so I'm not going to engage in this. And she didn't say anything back to me. But then other people were like, you need to learn history. Back to her, and I was like,
people love to harp. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
People love to harp on the negative. If you were to respond it, she would have went. But because you didn't respond in the way she wanted, you know, she
stopped. It stopped her because I didn't take her bait. You know what I mean?
She wanted you to go in.
Right. And I was like, why the fuck are you, like, you were the girl I was supposed to have a drink at Sasha's with, like, before quarantine started. Like, what? Well, that's not going to happen. But so I just felt like, what? Like, she's not like one of my best friends or something. You know, she was more of like an acquaintance friend. Yeah. But I thought she was pretty cool. And now I know that deep down inside, her moral compass is whacked. Yeah. So goodbye.
Fix your true north on your moral compass, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Please. Because that, man, people have been wilding. The fact that she pulled out slaves in Hungary or something like that.
Yes. I mean,
you wouldn't even know you was from Hungary if you didn't do a 23andMe.
Right? Or like your white retired friend did a genealogy thing because they're fucking bored. You know what I mean? That's what happened to my mom. She was like, "Look, I got your genealogy. My friend's really good at it, and she's bored." I'm like, "Yeah, I never would have known that. Like, I was Slovenian and all other crap." So, I mean, shut up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, it made me mad. And then there was this other dude who Jason and I both have known for a very long time. I have a piece of his artwork, which I'm tempted to remove. I'm going to let Jason be. He's the one that gets to do our art, so I'm letting him deal with that one. But he was really rude, was like, kill the looters kind of thing. And he had a t-shirt made that said Blue Lives Matter, which don't get me started. And then it said something to do to the looters. It didn't say kill, but it was something like beat up the looters or something ridiculous. And he's like, anybody else want one of these shirts? I was like, motherfucker, what? So I told Jason, I was like, did you see what he's been putting? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I actually reached out to him like with an email, and you know, Jason's not a confrontational person. And he just said, hey, is this really what's in your heart? Because like, you've known me, you've known our family, like what you're saying is really against like my children. And like, I really don't know if this is like truly you. Like, I need you to think about it. The day after Jason sent that, that's when he posted that t-shirt thing. So I think it's really what's in his heart. So he's been unfriended by both of us. And we're like, who are these people? Like, it's just coming out of the woodwork. And it's really interesting to see. Like, I thought I knew you, but I don't.
I would much rather people show, you know, what they kind of got going on rather than hide it.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's like, dang.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, my bad, go ahead.
Well, it's fine. It's what it is, because nobody that's super close to me has this happened with. It's just, I already know who they are. But it's other people that are just like kind of around here. Yeah. You're like, bye. Flick you away too, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I hate when people say Blue Lives Matter, because the thing is, it's not a blue life. It's a blue shirt. It's literally a blue shirt. If somebody takes off their blue shirt and their badge, you would not know that they were a cop. You
Right.
can't look at their skin and be like, yo, he's a cop.
Right.
Only time you know that they're a cop is if they're wearing a shirt that says 93271 with a camera on it and a badge and a utility belt with a batarang in it.
And the camera turned off.
And the camera turned with them ugly Stacey Adams slip-ons that they be wearing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the only way you know they're a cop. So I hate when people say blue lives matter, blue lives matter. And I also hate when people protest. How are you protesting? If I want to have a conversation with somebody who says all lives matter, honestly, I don't want to have a debate. I want to have a conversation in person about that, because it just I want to have I want to have one with somebody who says that. I want to have one with a Christian who I want to have a debate with a Christian. I want to tear and this is not the right mindset or hearts that I should be in, but I want to tear a Christian to shreds on this topic with scripture. Like I woke up one morning and went on Twitter and I just like I put verses with it. So can't nobody, because people love to use the Bible for stuff like that. I'm going to use the scripture to back up exactly what I'm saying. And if
you know how many racist Christians there are?
So many. And I really want to have I forgot who it was, but they were having a conversation. So Lecrae is a Black Christian rapper.
Right. He's good. I like him.
Yeah. And then there was the owner of Chick-fil-A, Bishop Cathy, and then another guy, I don't know who he was. There was a pastor, like Lou Giglio or something. That's an actor.
What?
I don't know, but it was a pastor. So all three of them were having a conversation. And then I believe it's the pastor who said, like he doesn't like the term white supremacy. He actually likes he rather says white blessings, because it's the things that his ancestors did that he now has the like benefit of it. And it was crazy because he started off, he was talking about like how Black people didn't have right. He's 56. He was talking about how when he was born, Black people didn't have equal rights like in his city. And then he goes on to say that he doesn't like white supremacy. He actually likes the term white blessings. I was like, how do you go from people not having rights in your lifetime and saying how recent that was, to then saying, but I don't like white supremacy, I like white blessings? People didn't have rights. People were getting sprayed with water hose. I mean, not water, fire hoses, things they use to put out house and building fires. The pressure could tear your skin off. They're getting sprayed with this, police dogs getting shot, Black Wall Street getting bombed. I was doing research. I didn't know that they were getting bombed. There were private planes that dropped bombs on it. And then there were people on the ground going and looting Black Wall Street just because it was a Black area of business. Same thing in Philadelphia with the MOVE organization and John Africa. They dropped a bomb in a residential area in Philadelphia. And you want to say white blessings?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Stuff like that blows me, because I'll be like, yo, and you try to say that you serve the same God as me? Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
I think that right there is one of the things that has always been such a conflict with me. And you are, like I've said before, are the first person that I've met that is a Christian that, is a Christian that lives the way you speak and is always striving to do better and to learn. That is the polar opposite of what I've always viewed a Christian. Very close-minded, very racist, pretty much. Just like not understanding, not loving, not compassionate, not willing to learn. All of those things are these people that we're talking about, that are the Christian who are racist assholes. And they wouldn't like try 1 second to understand why Black Lives Matter.
I don't get it.
I
don't get it.
That's another episode. Gosh, we're never gonna be done talking.
No, there was when I was in LA. So we went to Cali. We stayed in Visalia with family. We were between Fresno and Visalia, and so then we went to LA for like 2 days. And so while we were walking around down there, there's a place called Mr. Noodle. It is fantastic Thai food. Fantastic.
think I've heard of
Absolutely
Mr. Noodle.
fantastic. All right. But so while we were down there are National Guard people like just on the street
Yeah.
with their pachus on their chest, like, and I'm talking about like at every corner, just walking through. They're just standing there, and I was like, "Yo, this is crazy." And
Because of the
so,
protests or because of COVID or for both?
because of the protest.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're by UCLA, and so
Yeah. Westwood.
yeah, so we're walking through National Guard people everywhere. And we're walking up, and this homeless guy, I wave at him. I'm like, hey, hey, how you doing? And he's like, hey, man, you guys UCLA people? It's me, Fred, and my cousin.
Mhm.
She's a girl. Me, Fred, and my cousin were walking, and we're like, hey, I was like, hey, what's up? He was like, hey guys, you guys UCLA guys? We was like, nah. And then he was like, oh, well, and then the guy sitting next to him was like, they're protesters. I was like, yo,
You're like, we're walking.
we're just visiting. We're going to get some food. Like, what are you talking about? Two older white guys, they're protesters. I was
Of
just
course, because you're black.
that is wild. So then we got some food, and then lo and behold, we did end up going to a protest. This guy was a fortune teller, is what I'm trying to tell you. When we saw a protest, we was like, let's get it. We went to protest. Never seen that many white people at a protest.
But that's good.
Yeah. This was that is a good thing. Never seen that many white people at a protest. I actually felt the energy there was something I don't know if I felt in a very long time. It was just so many people, so many different races, just all there for the same reason,
right?
And like not backing down from it. Like,
and it wasn't violent, was it?
It wasn't violent. We were in the street. We were like, it was just like, they were like, Black Lives Matter. And in the midst of all of this, to hear, not even saying it, but hearing people saying just Black Lives Matter from all these different, I was just like, man.
Thank you. Finally.
Not only that, when people were saying hands up, don't shoot, me and Fred were talking about it. We were like, it's kind of weird to hear this in another state.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, obviously, like Fred was older than I was. I was in high school when that happened. Actually, like I was like my freshman or sophomore year, and we had to delay like going back to school,
right?
Because of everything. I remember stepping and dancing at so many freaking events, peace rallies. There was it was mainly, I think it was mainly peace rallies. There was peace rallies where outside. It was just all over the place, stepping, dancing. Everywhere. Right. So this was like a big part of like my like early high school. And so hearing people like, hands up, don't I was like, it's kind of weird. Kind of made me uncomfortable, to be honest. When I like, it made me uncomfortable to the point where like I almost wanted to cry, to be like, in all honesty. I didn't understand like how to process the emotion with it. It was weird.
Right.
And then there was one more thing I wanted to tell you. Oh yeah, so the National Guard people.
Yes.
So we're walking through with the National Guard people everywhere, and these white people go up to the National Guards, and they're like talking to him and asking questions and stuff. And then we're walking past, and he's like, "But you can't actually like shoot people though, right? Like, can you actually shoot people?" He's asking them these questions and stuff, and that was a really weird question. Be like, can you actually shoot people though? Like, it was a white man.
I think they can actually do whatever they want.
I was really thrown because I was scared to walk past them.
Well, yeah,
but they were comfortable enough to walk up to them and ask them about if they could shoot people.
Because that is white privilege.
And that's a great example of it. Like, we are legitimately frightened walking, not like oh, but we like, hey, nigga, back.
Like, watching your back, you're watching your P's and Q's, you're making sure, like.
Yeah, I'm making sure I was making sure I wasn't jaywalking. That's how, like, I'm like, hold on, let me press the button. Like,
let me make sure it says walk.
Yeah, like, I was just like, man. So.
No, I get it. I totally get it. Ugh. So much. I don't know what other people have been doing or dealing with. We talked about this quite a bit, but like having these conversations with kids, you know,
Yeah.
about everything that's going on. So we're actually going to, like, our neighborhood, like the Carondelet neighborhood is having a protest,
Yeah.
like a family event tomorrow night. So we're going to that,
Yeah.
and taking the kids.
Oh, is that what you sent
And
me?
no, it's a
The
different
flyer?
one now.
Oh, okay, I get you.
So it's interesting because my older neighbors, they told me about it, which they're very progressive. And I really like how open their minds have always been. So yeah, they're going to go. And I asked some more people like around the neighborhood to just like get out there and go.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that, which is good. But, you know, Harper, I have an extra Black Lives Matter sign. We've always had one in our yard, but I got him an extra one so that he can hold it. And he's like, earlier Ellison took the sign and he's like, and we marched around the house saying Black Lives Matter. And I was like, that's cute. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe I was doing yoga. So but that's cool and like cute. You know, Harper just gets it more than Ellison. Like today I was trying to talk to Ellison about even just being African American.
Yeah.
Which, God, that kid doesn't give a fuck about anything. It's so funny, but he will. But you know, Harper has been very like he was scared of protests and he was scared that somebody was going to burn our house down. He told me the other day that sometimes he wishes he was white because police want to hurt brown people.
Yeah.
Just all these kind of things, you know. I've had to have all these conversations, and now people are like, oh, we're going to have the conversations with our white kids. What else can we do? And to a point, that's great. But to another point, it's like, this isn't something new. So I hope that this keeps going and the momentum keeps going and it doesn't just die down after a verdict is read or after whatever happens. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because again, it's like all this energy and then is it just going to dissipate?
Yeah. I put something up on Instagram that was talking about how, like, you know, in DC they, you know, painted made the street, you know, name Black Lives Matter.
Okay,
and
I have to say, I think that's so fucking hilarious that Trump lives on that street.
that is mad funny.
So funny. He's gonna have to put that's his address like all the time. I mean, he probably doesn't write his own letters. I mean, he probably can't write, but still, it's very funny. Go ahead.
Yeah, like that. You know, like white people doing foot washing ceremonies and stuff like that, which was okay. So half of me is like, that's weird. All right,
what?
It's really
I haven't
weird.
heard about this
Washing feet in the public, but I also understand
whose feet are they washing?
Just black people out there.
So white people are washing black people's feet.
Yeah.
Girlfriends, don't touch anyone's feet.
The other thing is, though, I understand if they're Christians, I understand the biblical position of washing someone's feet. So I get what they're saying. And I mean, honestly, like to me, like, it's like, I don't want nobody like wash my feet. Like, just the offer would be enough. But, but like, also, like, I know that takes a lot of humility. So I completely respect them for doing that. And I wish people, like, we crack jokes about it and everything, but I hope people understand like the power behind like a foot washing ceremony.
Sure.
But like all these different types of things are being done, and it's like, yeah, this is cool, like, great, all right, but like, what about the stuff we're asking for, like police reform? All right, like things like that. Can we have that? Like, don't just try to
actually have it.
Yeah.
You know? Because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and which, you know, I'm always doing that, but there's two that focus around, like, one of them is, you know, Paul Holes, who's a retired forensic police detective, pretty much.
Yeah.
And even what he's saying, like, he always adds like such clarity to things, and he was kind of like, okay, you can say this, but certain money is allocated towards certain things that like people vote for. So that money is already to like this situation that was voted on, this situation that was voted on, then this money is allocated to this. And he's like, so this other money is what we're talking about, and where are we really going to put it, and is that going to happen? And so it's like, he's like, if I saw a plan in place that was laid out like on a piece of paper that this is where things are going and it was structured, he's like, then I would believe that, and then it would make sense. But you have to have a plan in place. It can't just be like, defund. Well, okay, you have to have a plan.
Yeah.
And so he made it seem just so much clearer, like in my brain. I was like, you're right. And I never thought about like, oh, well, some of this money is already allocated and you can't move that money because the people voted, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So that goes there. But that was really interesting to hear. So, yeah. I mean, hopefully they will put in some policies and like actually change things, but I don't know. Someone's going to have to do it, but yeah, it takes a plan. Everything takes a plan.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has been another episode of Unapologetically Human. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to visit our website and subscribe. Everything that you want is up there. Please. Our website, www.uhumanpodcast.com. Subscribe so you never miss anything, any updates, episodes, blogs, merch when it gets up there. Just things we blast out, email, all of it. Just you don't want to miss any of it.
Right.
I guarantee you. Make sure you scroll to the bottom, hit all of our socials, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at UHuman Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Interact with us. We love to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts on all of our episodes. Be sure to email us, uhumanpodcast@gmail.com.
And go to Greenwood District and use our code for a discount. UHuman.
And visit God the Father Apparel. And use discount code Marcus at checkout. All right. Once again, Unapologetically Human, the podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like, share with your peeps and your friends.
Yeah.
And
Do it.
I have been Marcus.
I am still Mandy.
And catch you next week. All right. Bright and early.
Yep, that's right. All right. Bye.